All right, what is up, Spotify? This is the Tacoma Parkour Collective. This is our first episode. I am Tyler, and
I'm Jared.
and we just had a few things that we wanted to kind of talk about, build an episode around, and one of those first things is going to be the history of parkour. We're going to talk about how both Jared and I got started in parkour, and then why we started the Tacoma Parkour Collective. You may see us around town sometimes jumping around. Do you have a favorite spot?
En Rama in Tacoma. It's my favorite spot. You could pretty much only go there on lately Mondays only, because there were a bunch of weddings during the summer on Sundays. But I think you probably go Sundays now too. But the walls are right outside the restaurant, and the owner is a little grouchy. He's a little grouchy, to say the least, and you don't want to deal with that. Trust me, you don't want to deal with that. But it's a great spot. You should definitely check it out.
Yeah, for sure. Nut trees all over the place, and honestly, it's just a lot to train and do there. There's a lot of options and opportunity, but I'd like to get kind of into how parkour started, which is I have a couple articles pulled up here.
What I know there was definitely like a unit, like wasn't it in World War One, like around like 1920 in France? They were just like, it was like a unit of soldiers, I swear, and I don't remember what it was called, but do you remember what that was called?
I don't remember what it was called, but
I've seen a couple of videos. They train with no shoes on too, and it's like, and now we can't even get monetized going on a roof, and yet that soldiers are allowed to do it with no shoes on.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I've seen a lot of people on the internet who train without shoes, but what I'm looking at here in this article is that in the early 1900s, Georges Hebert, I probably butchered that, developed physical training or physical conditioning methods called Method de Naturel that emphasized natural movement, agility, and practical fitness. Mostly this involved like obstacle course training. And later there is a firefighter by the name of Raymond Bell who used that training style to seek out efficient ways to navigate urban obstacles as a firefighter, who then had a son by the name of David Bell. And David Bell is when we start to see truly the concept of parkour start to really take shape.
Like as a sport.
As a sport. As a training method, as a form of expression. If you haven't looked up David Bell, I really recommend the movie Brick Mansions. Have you seen Brick Mansions?
I haven't seen Brick Mansions. I've seen the parkour though.
Definitely watch Brick Mansions. It's a great parkour movie.
He trained with Sebastian Foucault.
Yeah.
He's the bad guy in Casino Royale. He did the famous / infamous crane jump. He's a beast too. He toured with Madonna and stuff. Yeah.
That is crazy. So basically what this AI overview from Google says is that parkour is a physical discipline that originated in France in the 1980s. It was developed by David Bell and his friends who called themselves the Yamakasi Group. The word parkour comes from the French word parcours, which means route or path. The group was influenced by French military obstacle courses, Hong Kong cinema, and Asian martial arts. And the group's original name was L'Art du Déplacement, which means the art of movement. Yeah.
Yamakasi are crazy. They took so many crazy high drops, and just stiff too. Like most of the time, they didn't like roll or put their hands down. They would just Kadori that. Just
Yeah,
Kadori it.
eat the impact.
Oh, so crazy. But they were like really disciplined with their outside training. So they're over here doing. They train like Tyler does. Tyler's Yamakaze coded.
Thank you. I think.
Yeah. He even has the like everyone around me's gotta be. And I'm like, I'll hang out with you and we can do the things, but like. I gotta go lift cement bags for 24 hours a week. That's how they doesn't sound that much, but I got strong front delts, but not necessarily back ones. But it's brick rock.
Ooh.
Oh.
Now I would like to take a moment to kind of dig into your origin story, Jared, and kind of like what got you started in parkour.
What got me started in parkour? It was during lockdown. It was July 3rd, the day before Independence Day, where we light fireworks. It's a big tradition in my family and stuff, but we just had to skip it that year because quarantine and stuff. Wanted to be safe. So I just was bummed out looking for something to do, and I just watched the right video at the right time. I did went outside and tried one jump, and I was like, well, I'm gonna go find somewhere downtown and try this. And then I did. Origin story, man, it's not that crazy, but like the first ever, the channel's origin story is really interesting though.
Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. What, like, man, what made you like realize that parkour was for you and like the thing you needed to be doing in life?
Just watching people on TV do fun stuff with their friends is just always what I wanted to do. So, and I like sports and I like filming. I've always wanted to get into YouTube. So actually, I'm a YouTube first parkour guy, which is one of the rare millennial traits of mine. Is I really like filmmaking. And I used to film for my friends when they would skate because I don't like getting road rash. I wouldn't try that hard because I can't do that. I'll poke the injury like a dog, and it's bad. It's bad. Can't deal with it. I would be poking it. It's bad. I can't do it. Well, I can. I don't want to. I choose not to.
Yeah, man. Well, that's cool, and just happy to have you in the sport, and happy to be a part of the Tacoma Parkour Collective. So, my story is a little more drawn out. So my origin kind of reflects back to sign spinning. That's my main job. And for those of you who don't know what sign spinning is, basically, I have a 6 foot by 2 foot piece of plastic in the shape of an arrow, and I do tricks with that on a street corner somewhere for money.
It's advertising. It's pretty dope.
It's advertising, for sure. And it's actually the most effective form of advertising because of the way that you engage with people in real life. You know, you can pass a billboard or an A-frame and you can read it, and I mean, you're going to think about whether that a business applies to you or not. Whereas when you interact with a sign spinner, there's like a moment of connection between two people.
Right. It's a little bit of soul.
Yeah.
Some soul in the advertising.
I would say the same thing. So I also was a huge gamer. Now, you're going to see in a minute how all this ties together. I was a huge gamer. I continue to love playing Assassin's Creed specifically. And one day I was on YouTube and I was watching parkour videos, and I found the Assassin's Creed in real life parkour videos.
I hear that's a lot of people's way into it. I'm just such a YouTube nerd. It was literally just like, oh, there it is. That's my niche. And Here now.
Yep. For me, it was the video game aspect. So I watched these guys do the climbs that you do in Assassin's Creed, but in real life, like in the streets of France or in London or here in America. And I was like, I could probably do that too. I love going outside and doing stupid things, so why don't I try to get on this new stupid thing?
That's fair. Do you have any costumes now?
Yes, I have 3 cosplays currently.
Okay, because we had someone join specifically because they read the description and then they said do a video in costume. So
Okay.
I was just gonna show up in my pineapple outfit for a session with Grissom, and just be like, act casual, like you don't even know I'm dressed like a pineapple, or act like you're used to this, like I just do this normally, which I used to in the beginning. I think I have like 4 different episodes where I had the pineapple costume on. I even played a Mask Off by Future on my whatever that music note thing is called. I don't remember what it's called, but I was standing over the Stairway to Heck playing Mask Off in a pineapple costume. I fell in the water that day too. That was fun.
Oh man,
that was fun. It was cold.
it sounds like a good time. But like I was saying, I had looked up these videos about Assassin's Creed in real life.
Right.
And
replicate it.
Yeah, not only was I trying to replicate it, I was like, where do I go to learn how to do this? And the first thing I found was tutorials, right? Practice in my yard. And then I actually found a gym in Seattle by the name of Parkour Visions. And
I wish I had a gym too.
as soon as I found them, I was like, I'm going to go and study this. So I actually tried to sell them sign spinning, and they said no. They were very first time meeting them, they were like, absolutely not. We are a non-profit. That's just not something that we're interested in. And I instead wound up with a work trade membership at Parkour Visions. I would clean the gym 2 hours, 1 day a week, and then I could take unlimited classes.
That's pretty nice. Get open gym for free too?
Everything. I got to take classes. I got to do open gym. I could stay there as long as I wanted. I even got to use like staff amenities because I was basically an employee, just unpaid.
Right. What other ways could people get into parkour if there isn't like a gym by them?
Well, if there's not a gym near you, you don't have a place that you could turn to. There is an app called Phoenix Flow, and it has a 15 level workout series that I would recommend for anybody, even the most advanced athletes to like the most basic. I would recommend you hop on this app and you try some of the workouts. It's a free app. There is a paid tier, but it's a very inexpensive app. Like, I think it's like $8 a month or something.
Right.
But if you're not looking to use an app, I would definitely go on YouTube. I would look up things like Jason Paul has put out a amazing beginner parkour,
right.
Multiple beginner parkour videos.
Who's that guy out of Colorado? I don't think he like makes videos that often anymore, but
Ronnie Street Stunts?
It's him, yeah. He's got some good tutorials too.
Definitely check out Ronnie Street Stunts. What is it? Nick Provost?
Nick Provost is a good one too.
Yep. You know, I don't see a lot of tutorials come out of Store. I do see Bob Reese posting, this is how you do this, all the time.
But to be fair, Store is a bunch of street rats and a bunch of punk kids. That's why they were the probably the exact right team at the right time for me to watch. Because like I come from a skating background, where it is just kind of show up to a spot and like go ham until someone tells you to leave or like you get tired.
Yeah, whereas I have that gym bro mentality. Like, I want to do 3 sets of my dash vault. I want to do 3 sets of my precisions. I want to do 3 sets. And then at the end, after I've done a workout, I want to like combine movements. I want to take the things that I've worked on through a session and try to put them together.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm more of a challenge-oriented person. But again, that's the skating background. Just ingrained in my soul, that culture.
Well, how would you say Tacoma Parkour Collective started? What's the origin story there?
The July 3rd where I was talking about that I saw the right video at the right time. I went outside and did like a little jump, and then I invited one of my good friends, Kelsey. He was the one in the first ever Tacoma Parkour POV. He's the man. He lives in Oregon, but when he comes up, he's here to train. He's definitely down the train. But I was just like, hey, we should go try this. And then the next day, we went to Cube City for the very first time.
Cube Fountain.
We didn't have cameras or anything, unfortunately, but we were taught a very good lesson that we should have cameras now, because while we were training, the protests were going on, right?
What protest for what?
I believe it was Black Lives Matter one. It was the one summer of 2020. People were just a little restless. They were in the house too long, and there were definitely stuff that could be addressed, and they did. But we were just jumping on a fountain, and we're just jumping for a few minutes, right? And we hear something in the background. It's kind of loud, and he looks at me and goes like, "You hear that? That's like a seagull alarm from like a warehouse." I'm like, "Oh yeah, maybe, all right." We just keep training, right? 10 minutes go by, and it hears closer, and he's like, "Oh, we hear it again." I'm like, "Nah, dude, that's a megaphone." Whatever, that can't mean anything. So we go back to training, right? 15 minutes go by again, and I jump to the other side of the fountain where I can't see the 11th Avenue, or 11th Street, the hilly street, and I just hear Kelsey talking to someone. Well, it's a cop asking him if they're part of the protest. We're like, what? No, we're just jumping. And then like, we should probably get out of here. We didn't. As we were driving by, the cops were closing up the street. We almost got stuck in protest traffic, or wrapped up in it just training. We didn't have any cameras. We got no proof that this happened. And that was how Tacoma Parkour Collective got started. We just had to. You know what I mean? We just had to.
Just had to.
When something like that happens, that's a sign from the gods, Mount Olympus.
From the gods.
You take that sign.
Take it.
And crazy stuff always happens when I'm out training with Kelsey. I almost fell through the Tacoma sidewalk after having the exact situation happen in my head right before it happened. It's like, there's no way it could happen. I stepped out, I almost fell in. I can go into detail on that later, though. Oh, that was funny. It felt like a cartoon.
Oh, man. Good times. Good times. Well, who else is all involved in our little group here?
We got me, Jaraldinh0, editor, filmer, bigger guy, I don't know. We got Tyler, he's a gym rat. He's the other co-host right now. He's all about that flowy stuff. He's getting into flipping too. Then we got Caleb. He's like skinny Ed Scott almost. Like at least he's trying to get there.
Caleb has some of the craziest flips.
And then there's Grissom. He's vibes. He's cool. He's like Sonic the Hedgehog to me, like Ginger Sonic the Hedgehog. His style, he just be zipping around.
Wouldn't that be Tails?
No, he's too quick. He's too quick with his steeds. He be changing directions.
Okay.
And then from time to time, there's Troy. Troy's pretty good. He's one of Caleb's friends.
Right.
He's super good. He's not like a main member or anything yet. We're trying to get him out more, but he comes around. Hannah is a peripheral person too. She shows up sometimes too, helps with filming. She jumps when she's feeling it. She's not a muggle anymore. She's no muggle. And then once every 2 or 3 years, we got Kelsey for like a month or 2 weeks. 2 weeks to a month, depending on how much he gets vacation from his work. That's pretty much it nowadays.
Well, sick. Thanks for, giving those credits out. A few more just special mentions I want to make on our way out here is if you are in Washington and you are looking for places to train parkour, besides just parks, if you're looking for gyms, there is Dynasty Fitness. There is Parkour Visions, but they don't have a physical space anymore.
It's more like outdoor, like classes and seminars, yeah.
It's all outdoor.
A lot of them
classes.
at Freeway Park. Freeway Park's pretty nice, especially when you got a group.
They do even more at Gasworks, actually.
That's a pretty nice place too.
Yeah. I teach parkour, but what else? I feel like there's another one here in Washington. I know out in Spokane you have the Crete guys.
I don't know about Washington, but I know Parkour Origins is in Vancouver.
Oh yeah. Wait, Canada or
Canada.
Okay. So
no, Vancouver, Washington, known for its nothing in its thriving parkour community.
Hey, actually, there's some parks in Vancouver that have some great parkour training offerings.
That's fair, but I can't name one guy at Vancouver, Washington. Not I can name that many from BC either, but I mean.
I might have one in one of my sign spinning videos. There was a kid that could like backflip and would train parkour. But anyway, I do think that is all that I had planned for this episode. Do you have any closing thoughts?
Not really. I'm just trying not to do the Bee Gees bit from that SNL thing. They're playing the Bee Gees, and it's Jimmy Fallon as Barry Gibb. Barry Gibb! And then one of the other Gibb brothers is Justin Timberlake, and he's like, do you have any contribution to the conversation? And you look at the camera and go, no, I don't.
Not
and
at all.
Jim Fallon will beg for him to say something, and he's just like, I don't have anything.
Please just say something.
Bingo, bango!
Bingo, bango.